बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम नाज़रीन, इरफान हाशमी आपको शो में खुशामदीद कहता हूँ। इस वक्त हम कावे मुसावी साहब के साथ मौजूद हैं। एक इंटरव्यू उनका आप जो वीडियो क्लिप आप देख रहे होंगे, साल पहले मैंने एक इंटरव्यू किया था, जो न्यूज़ मेकर इंटरव्यू था। पाकिस्तान में ओवर द ईयर्स क्या होता रहा, मुशर्रफ टाइम में, नवाज शरीफ टाइम में, पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी के टाइम में एक कंपनी को हायर किया जाता है और मुल्क से जो लूटी हुई दौलत थी इसे पाकिस्तान वापस लाना था। ब्रॉडशीट को ये टास्क दिया गया, 200 टारगेट थे इसके अंदर। वो लोग जिन्होंने पैसे देने थे मुख्तलिफ गवर्नमेंट्स के अंदर, वो हुकूमत में आ जाते हैं, मुशर्रफ साहब से साजबाज करके एनआरओ मिल जाता है। और फिर उसके बाद क्या हुआ कि वो कंपनी जिसके पैसे बनते थे, सर्विसेज चार्जेस से पे नहीं किए गए। आखिरकार ये मामला एक बार फिर अदालत में जाता है, जहाँ पे पाकिस्तान की हुकूमत को, पाकिस्तान तहरीक इंसाफ की हुकूमत को ये पैसे देने पड़े, क्योंकि मामला रियासत पाकिस्तान से था और ये मामला किसी हुकूमत के साथ नहीं था, क्योंकि रियासत इसकी ज़िम्मेदार थी। कावे मुसावी ने आज एक इंटरव्यू दिया जिसमें उन्होंने कहा कि नवाज शरीफ साहब के साथ जो कुछ भी हुआ उन्हें तमाम इल्ज़ामात से बरी कर दिया और उन्होंने आज माफ़ी मांगी है। ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है। कावे मुसावी मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं, मैं इनसे ही बात करता हूँ इस हवाले से। कावे, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर टाइम। आफ्टर 1 year वी हैव मेट अगेन।
Yes, nice to see you again on a nice day.
In a nice day, but you know the way things are moving in the canvas of Pakistan after your rendering an apology to Nawaz Sharif, things are not that great in that area, because what you said in my interview a year ago, it is totally different to what you were claiming at that time.
Not totally different. I am interested in finding the truth. And when the facts change, my views change. I am not stuck to a position. I don't belong to a political party. I have no political axe to grind in Pakistan. I don't know the difference between any party with the other. I am only interested in what I was retained to do, find stolen money. And I can repeat, there was not a single rupee that can be attached to the name of Mr. Nawaz Sharif. We found a lot of stolen money. We did. A lot of stolen money. And the court so found. The court in London found that NAB conspired against us. They conspired to defraud us.
Which court found this?
It's the London Court of International Arbitration by Sir Anthony Evans, one of the most senior judges in Britain, found, having listened to the facts, said that NAB defrauded us. We are interested only and only in speaking to the facts. The facts, if they change, of course we change our view.
All right. So the facts have changed after a year. As a layman, I'm in a position to understand that you must have done some investigation. So which means that a year ago there was no investigation, and you were in the position to tell the world that yes, we were very close to that 1 billion account. Like there was an account and billions of dollars were there, and we were providing that information to the government of Pakistan, and they were not doing anything. That was your statement. But after a year, you must have done some investigation. So what is that investigation, and what is the sphere of that investigation?
Well, the investigation showed that the person who pretended he was the nephew of Mr. Nawaz Sharif was nothing of the sort. It was a complete lie. That he would offer us money in order to settle and go away. It was a complete lie. Just a hustler who was here to try and work both ends of the street. I owe it to the people of Pakistan to tell them what the truth is. This is going to cost me a lot. And I'm receiving a lot of threats every day, especially right now.
So that's fine. That's fine. I sorry to interrupt you in the middle. That is as far as that gentleman is concerned, who is posing to be the nephew of the Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif. And yes, you can go after him and tell the people of the world what he has done. But my question is, what investigation you have done from the day when you did an interview with me, and now what has changed? Your investigators went after the money. What accounts here in UK, in the world, or what have happened to that $1 billion account?
We were sacked by NAB. We were unable, we were not allowed to investigate the matter.
Right.
So
you did it privately?
No.
After that?
No, we didn't do anything of the sort. What we did was to find out what was really going on behind these allegations, and we found out there was a deep conspiracy which was nothing other than a witch hunt. I owed it to the people of Pakistan to come and tell them that what we had said about an offer of a bribe to us to go away was nothing of the sort, right, because we investigated that.
Okay, when you say investigated, this is what let me rephrase my question again. When we say you investigated, after that interview you investigated privately, because you have reached to a conclusion, because I remember that day, Mr. Mousavi, you said that when it's a pack of lies what Nawaz Sharif is saying, that this decision of Broadsheet doesn't exonerate him from the fact. You said it. but you must have done some investigation. So I'm relying on you because you are the source of information. You are rendering an apology to Mia Nawaz Sharif and I really want to ask you this question: what happened to those 200 targets? Coming to that after. So what is your investigation? I really want to know that.
We were prevented from investigating any further.
So can you do that investigation after that? You
We-
must have done after that.
No, facts began to emerge from inside.
Alright.
From inside Pakistan to tell us some of the things you have said. Look at the documents, and we looked. One of them was there was never an attempt to bribe me by the Sharif family. It was a complete pack of lies. We were set up by the people. That does not mean
Alright.
that Broadsheet did not carry out a very vigorous investigation. We did.
So you are relying on the facts that have appeared, factors that have appeared in form of conversation, in form of clues within Pakistan, that somebody approached you and said, look, Mr. Mousavi, what you're doing is wrong. And I tell you the story. So you have to rely on evidence that Mr. Sharif, this is all the money and he has nothing to do with this money. I am giving him a clean sheet and I'm running an apology.
No, I think that is to be that is not an accurate summary of what
All right.
happened. The accurate summary is we were investigating, and we soon discovered that NAB has no interest, none whatsoever, in investigating corruption. Their intention was to get us and get our imprimatur in a witch hunt. That's what their interest was.
Okay, you haven't changed from that day today. Even you're saying the same thing, and I believe that because you said that NAB was not interested. We were giving them the information, and they're just handpicking the person from that list. Release this guy, and we need to go after this guy. This is what you have been told when you told me in that day. But what happened? I'm again really anxious to know and curious to know. You are relying on investigation. You are an investigator. That's what your job was. The people, the NAB has, the government of Pakistan actually hired you to find an investigation. So let me rephrase this question again. What were your investigation and what have you found?
Well, read the report that we gave to NAB and read the report
But that was before the interview.
and the judgment of Sir Anthony Evans.
And that was before the interview?
Yes, but what was after the interview was the government of Pakistan contacted me.
Right.
I gave them further information and further information and further information.
And they didn't do anything.
Nothing.
And then you believe that it means that it's only a witch hunt and nothing is true?
Nothing that we gave them did they pursue.
Okay.
Instead, information came to me from inside NAB that they're not interested
In that.
and they're trying to set you
But
up.
how it can actually, how this all practice can undermine your own investigation, Mr. Mousavi?
It did not undermine our
So
investigation.
you were telling the truth to the NAB, go after these guys, and they were saying, oh, we are not interested. This is the impression you have got from them, from the inside source, I believe that. And as you said, so it cannot undermine your own authority on the piece of evidence which you have.
It does not undermine. We stand by everything that we said in the report that we did. We
Which
stand.
means that you can't give them the clean sheet and you have to change. So why you have changed your opinion if you're getting the impression from the insiders?
No, I am not saying that. Please do not attempt to put words in my
No,
mouth.
I'm not. I'm relying. I'm still okay. Tell us again your investigation, how it gives a clean sheet to Mr. Mia Nawaz Sharif.
People are entitled to the presumption of innocence. That is to say, due process means you're innocent until your guilt is proved.
All right.
I saw every attempt to prove guilt not backed with any evidence, and I saw the exact opposite whenever we tried to go after and demonstrate facts. Not only were we sabotaged, and we wondered why we are being sabotaged. We came to the conclusion that we've been sabotaged because this whole thing was a witch hunt from day one, and we came to the conclusion
You've been misguided. That's what you're saying. By NAB.
They attempted to mislead us, yes.
But you were not. You were on the right track. But you found few things, and you were telling them, "Look, this is the evidence we have. Tell us what should we do with this evidence."
We found plenty of stolen money, but not one rupee relating to Nawaz Sharif.
And who are these people then? 200 targets, you were saying?
Well, they're all there. They're all in NAB. Go and ask them.
Right.
I'm now bound by a confidentiality order at the
right,
tribunal.
okay.
So, but I can tell you, and I will repeat, NAB was not interested in going after stolen money. NAB was interested in a witch hunt. We found not one rupee that was illicit money attributable to Nawaz Sharif or members of his family.
Right.
We found plenty of evidence that NAB is not interested in going after thieves and corrupt people, of which there are plenty in Pakistan. Plenty of thieves.
What do you think about Zardari and other people? Have you found any? Have you done any investigation in their cases as well?
That investigation is over. I mean, as you know, they cut us off from that one, and frankly, I have not looked at that since 2003. It would not be legitimate for me to talk about that, you know. But I would really put them in the same box.
Can you publish these evidences which you have, which you are posing, which you believe that this is the reason why I have to change, and I'm rendering my apology. I'm coming down from my position and saying, look, Mr. Sharif, I'm sorry, what happened? Obviously, there must be some evidence. Can you publish that evidence?
I'm not coming down from my position. I'm going on a higher moral position.
Right.
I owe it to people, of the Pakistani people, to tell them the truth, irrespective of what it costs me, and it's going to cost me a lot in terms of my own personal safety.
Can you publish that?
I'm publishing it right now through your camera.
No, the evidence. I don't have the evidence. It's only your word against him or your word against me or anyone.
You'll have to take my evidence as that. That is evidence in a court of law. I am saying we found not one penny of illicit money that can be attributed directly to...
I have one more question. And this is very important. You are claiming in the courts, in the arbitration and all that, we did our service. We are asking money for our service, isn't it? We did work. Please give us our money. And you went to the court because they were denying you from your services. This is what happened,
Yes.
right? So which means that if you have done some services and now after rendering an apology to that person, which means you haven't done your services, the information you have given to the NAB or the people of Pakistan or the authorities was a lie.
No, we found money. We found a lot of money. That's why the judge said you're owed your 20% commission. We found a lot. And the judge says in his judgment that the disclosure of documents by NAB was reluctant, it was dilatory, it was not satisfactory. We found enough money for us to be entitled to $30 million. That doesn't mean we found any money regarding Mr. Nawaz Sharif himself or members of the family. We found looted assets, of which 20% came to $30 million.
You said in my interview that if the Imran Khan, who is obviously of your Oxford, you mentioned that in particular, hires you, then you can go after Evanfield and all that.
Imran Khan, frankly, I wouldn't believe if he tells me it's a sunny day today. I would start beginning to believe that it's at night now.
Because he never hired you, is that the reason or some other
No,
reason?
because he made misrepresentations and lies to the people of Pakistan. And his ministers lied to me. His minister came to and sat with me twice. He had lunch with me and he had met me and he lied to me. And his other minister phoned me and I gave him a lot of information. They did
What
not.
was the name of minister?
You know who the minister is.
Ali Zaidi?
Yes.
On Skype?
That's
as
right.
mentioned in the news report today?
You know the answer.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yes.
You said the same thing in my interview. I remember all that.
That's right.
But do you really believe that the NAB might be doing something? This started way back at the time of Musharraf.
Musharraf was not interested in fighting corruption. That's why we insisted that we are not prepared to go after just Mr. Nawaz Sharif, whom he had just unlawfully overthrown. We would like to go after every other politician. That's why, you remember, we set up two companies. Yes. One was Broadsheet and the other one was International Asset Recovery. That's why we did that. From more or less day one, it was quite clear that they were on a witch hunt rather than on a hunt for stolen assets, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Okay, so this whole been started by Musharraf.
Yes.
And it came to Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, Imran Khan's government.
Yes.
So you're saying the NAB never obviously showed the cooperation. So do you think, can you give the benefit of doubt to this government? Because obviously they were there, they haven't done anything wrong, but it was accusation, the strong allegations against Nawaz Sharif.
This government has not lifted a finger to investigate what I've told them. Not one finger.
But now you're saying that it was all fake.
It was all fake. Yes, I agree. It was all fake. This government is a fraud through and through.
So where your investigation is, like, do you have a hardcore evidence of all your investigation? Like right now, after the interview which we did last year, because it's 365 days, even more than, I think that happened in April last year, and we have come a year from that time. You must have gathered evidences and you have reached to a point and saying, look, I'm sorry, Mr. Sharif.
We are in the middle of another tribunal at the moment, and it's
All right.
confidential, and I can't discuss
All
it.
right, okay. So it means that there is some a legal battle going on between you and Nawaz Sharif?
No, there's no legal battle going on between me and Nawaz Sharif. There's a legal battle going on between me and elements, corrupt elements inside the government of Pakistan. And it's a matter of arbitration. I can't discuss that.
All right. And if you look at that interview, you also said that. Was there any army men involved in that?
No,
Nobody was involved in that.
no.
And
There was somebody who pretended it was a military man,
All
but
right.
our investigation showed it had nothing to do with military. Another hustler who'd come along, and
have you reported him to the authorities?
I've reported him to the government of Pakistan.
All right. And what happened with Evan Field? Because you categorically mentioned that that this is the money of Pakistan, so please give it to Broadsheet.
Well, the court disagreed. The court disagreed.
No, you actually withdraw that application, if you remember.
Yes.
The attachment application.
That's right.
The court never disagreed. You withdraw that application.
We drew it because the evidence, you say one of the investigations, one of them was that the evidence did not sustain the suggestion that Evan Field's
No, Mr. Mousavi, you said that in your interview. I revisited your interview. You said that we went to the court, and there was we saw that this Evan Field belonged to the people of Pakistan. That is the property of the government of Pakistan. So we went to the court and asked them, look, we need this. There was an attachment application, but later we found out some other money in one other accounts. So we actually dropped that application, the attachment application. That's what you told me in your interview.
It's absolutely right. We were relying on the information that had come from NAB, that this was, they had made, the Accountability Court had made an order, and there was an application before the courts in Pakistan to seize Avonfield and all that. And we went to court and said, well, the government of Pakistan themselves are saying this. That wasn't a claim against Nawaz Sharif, that was a claim against the government of Pakistan. The government of Pakistan were making these allegations in a court, not just in the media, not just in the press. And we took it at face value in good faith that they have the evidence. And when we examined it, we saw the evidence is a sham. No,
Why the timing at this time? Why at this particular moment you came up with this particular interview? You know that what is going on in Pakistan right now.
What is going on in Pakistan?
There's no confidence motion against the Prime Minister. Do you think this is why this time? The timing is everything in politics, Mr. Mousavi. You know that.
Well, that's your agenda, not my agenda. Your agenda is...
Okay, this is not my agenda. I need to be correct, you. And the other question is that who approached you for this interview? If you want to answer this, that's fine.
Well, you've approached me.
No, not this interview. The one that came this morning.
There's no property in witnesses. A lot of other people have approached me, and I've given an interview to everybody who's come.
All right. Okay. And where you will go from this? What you will going to do with this evidence, the one you have?
We have a tribunal. We have a court hearing, and we're pursuing that.
You have evidences against other corrupt elements, and no evidences against Nawaz Sharif.
We have no evidence against Nawaz Sharif. We have plenty of evidence that Mr. Sharif was set up by NAB. We have plenty of evidence of that, and that's why I owe him an apology, and I was more than happy to issue it. I wish it hadn't happened like that.
And what will happen, Mr. Mousavi, if the government of Pakistan will take you to the court in here and they say, look, this guy was hired to investigate and he's been telling us different stories. And now he's taken a U-turn, big time U-turn, and now this is what he's doing. So are you ready for that to face them in the court? They might go after you and say, look, this is perjury.
All I can say is don't make me laugh. The last time...
It's a question.
Well, I will tell them, don't make me laugh. The last time their minister, Mr. Shahzad Akbar, went to the High Court in London, you saw what happened. They threw him out. With his tail between his legs, he ran away. And then he was thrown out of government because of the embarrassment that was created in the High Court.
That's completely like the personal. But one more thing, and this is something really important. You mentioned that.
No, don't interrupt me. The government of Pakistan went to court.
Right.
And they were thrown out. They were thrown out by the High Court on an application of the National Crime Agency in order to seize the assets of Mr. Nawaz Sharif et al. And that was thrown out. And the reason why it's thrown out, because there was no evidence.
But what it has to do with you rendering your apology to the Sharif family?
It has this to do with your question, what happens if the government of Pakistan come after me? Well, I can give them the address of the High Court. It's in Chancery Lane. Let them sue me. That's just fine.
All right. And do you think that they will come after you after this?
We'll have a good laugh if they do. They're a bunch of fraudsters. And I've told them Mr. Shahzad Akbar, I wrote to him. I don't know if I sent it to you. I said, your government's claim to be interested in the rule of law, here's a court that's given an order. Why don't you obey it? They didn't even reply. Then I went to the other minister. Yes, I will do it. They didn't do anything about it.
There was
I'm going to be scared of a government like that?
there was a commission in Pakistan, the Broadsheet Commission, and there was a report came out.
Oh, that crook! That's that judge who didn't even interview me, and he doesn't know the difference between civil contempt and a convicted felony. That illiterate fool, who happened to be a NAB lawyer himself at the time when the Broadsheet contract was given to us, he took it upon himself to become an investigator. Now, a first-year law student will be able to tell you there's a conflict, massive conflict of interest in that. These people have no credibility. They really bring shame onto the name of Pakistan, frankly. If that's a court, then frankly, let them sue me if they want.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mousavi, for your time. I really appreciate that. Mr. Mousavi का आपने इंटरव्यू सुना. व्यूअर्स, ये हमारे सवाल थे जो हमने उनके सामने रखे. इस पर मज़ीद बात होगी अपने अगले शो में. इजाज़त दीजिए. अल्लाह ने के बाद.